Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Whenever the Ukrainians are overemphasizing or maximizing the Russian military capabilities, usually they want something. So in this case, I have an article from Ukrainska Pravda and from today, August 16th, 2022, and the Ukrainians are telling us how many thousands of pieces of ammunition the Russians use daily. Can you guess? Well, we have here this gentleman, Zaluzny. He says about the front line. Russians fire 40 to 60,000 pieces of ammunition daily. All right, so it says Valery Zaluzny, Commander-in-Chief of Ukraine's Armed Forces, told Wayne Eyre, the Canadian Chief of the Defense Staff, about the situation at the front and shared his concerns about the Belarusian missile systems stationed along the border with Ukraine on the territory of Belarus. I don't know if those are Belarusian missile systems or they are Russians. But let's go on with this and see what else Zaluzny says. And I'm quoting, I had a conversation with General Wayne Donald Eyre, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Chief of the Defense Staff of Canada. And I have informed my counterpart about the situation at the front line. It is intense but fully controlled. The location of missile systems along the state border shared with the Republic of Belarus, in particular at the Zyabrovka airfield, triggers concern. Now Zyabrovka is, I think, where the Russians brought their S-400s, S-300s, and it was that accident that they were talking about a few days ago. Valery Zaluzny states that Russian forces continue to advance along the entire front line. Did you hear that? The Russian forces continue to advance along the entire front line. That means, like, this is advancement, this is advancement, this is not advancement, okay? Or this is nothing, okay? So they must be going forward. At the same time, the enemy carries out approximately 700 to 800 shelling of our positions every day, using from 40 to 60,000 pieces of ammunition, end quote. And I'm quoting again, the enemy's main efforts are concentrated on pushing our troops back from the Donetsk Oblast. Valery Zaluzny notes that the most tense situation is currently observed on the axis of Avdiivka, Pisky, Marinka. He also emphasized that the Russians continue to shell peaceful towns and villages of Ukraine, Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, Marganets, Nikopol, Brezhen-Guverte are the most affected settlements by hostile shelling. Zaluzny thanked Eyre, or whatever his name is, because I can't pronounce it, and I didn't bother to hear his pronunciation, but I will pronounce it the way I want, for his assistance in training Ukrainian military personnel. And I'm quoting, in terms of heavy fighting, we feel a lack of teaching stuff, since all those who can hold weapons are able to fight are in combat orders. So they need training. Okay. Now, you see, he overemphasized here the military capability, 700 to 800 shelling of our positions every day, using 40 to 60,000 pieces of ammunition every day. And then he says that the Russians are advancing, right, on all fronts. Is that what he said? Yeah. I have informed my counterpart about the situation, and it's intense but fully controlled. Okay, that's one thing. But how about those statement? Missile stationed along, they are concerned with that, with the station missiles, and then everything is good over there. But it says that Valery Zaluzny stated that Russian forces continue to advance along the entire front. Now that's the thing I take out of this. And remember when the UK intelligence and the Ukrainian intelligence services stated that the Russians are running out of rockets and missiles and all that? How is that possible? So they can still, shell what, 700 to 800 times a number of what, 60, 50, 60, whatever thousand pieces of ammunition. I don't think he's talking about light weaponry, you know what I mean, like automatic weapons. I think he's talking about something else. But he's talking to his Canadian counterpart, and I don't know why he had to say this over there but it doesn't matter. This is the fact. The Russians still have ammunition and are still, this is what baffled me here, that he stated that they are advancing. I haven't heard this on all fronts. He didn't say it's under control, meaning what? It's a controlled advancement or defensive positions. We'll find out. Most articles that I see in the news state that the Russians are in an offensive and then they're pushed back by the Ukrainians. Rarely I see an article where they say, you know what, I think only Bakhmut is the only one that the Russians are really doing something, Bakhmut. Nothing else. Everywhere else where they try to advance, they're pushed back. But this guy says that they're actually succeeding on all areas, the whole front, but the situation is under control. What does that mean? That means that the patient is under surgery, is doing okay, he's bleeding to death slowly, the bleeding occurs under control. Is that what it is? And in the end, what happened with the patient? Dies? Is this what this guy's telling us? We're defending, everything is under control, man. The policy is followed. So as long as the policy is followed, we don't care about the outcome, right? This is what I got to see in many places where I worked here in the United States of America. As long as the policy is followed and your butt is covered, put it that way, and there's no suing, it doesn't really matter what the product is. The product is because they think if you follow the policy, the product must be of good quality. Not always, or I must say, not most of the time. You're concerned about the form, but not the content, what's inside. Well, the wrapping is great, but it's nothing in the box. Kind of like that. Very, very un-American, I would say. Because when I was a kid and young adult in Romania, whenever you had something made in the US, and it was, I don't know, you could have something for, 30 years, something, like a piece of equipment, that was, the real deal. Now, like everything is made out of plastic, and you don't even know what kind of material that is that breaks in 3 days. That's not America, but I have to compete with the Chinese, so it's mostly made over there. But decreased the quality of the product, unfortunately. But that's a lot of ammunition here. I said 40 to 60,000 pieces of ammunition daily. If you calculate that, you get to trillions in about a month or so. Just kidding. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.